Are you paying too much in taxes? Elevated Tax and Accounting is a firm that specializes in tax planning and strategy to minimize your tax bill. Elevated Tax consult with you on tax strategy throughout the year, so no more waiting until the end of the year and hoping for the best. As a business owner, you know your sole focus should be spent working on your business, not in it. Outsourcing gives you the time to concentrate on the core reasons you started your company, to create and innovate a top-tier product and generate profits. Elevated Tax and Accounting, elevating you and your business with a modern professional touch. Time out for Montana State Minute, probably presented by the Bobcat Collective. Bobcat Collective helping usher Montana State University in the new age of college athletics. To find out more, visit bobcatcollective.com. Tricia Binford, the head coach of the Montana State women's basketball team, joining us, and her team hosts Northern Arizona. The first half rematch, I should say. The first half is in the books, and this will be the second matchup between these two teams, and they still remain atop the standings. Coach, thanks for being here. How you doing?
Doing great. How are you, Colter?
Very good. First of all, just tell us about the first half for your team. Undefeated, so obviously you must be pretty satisfied with where you're at, but also it seems like you guys are never satisfied. So just tell us about just the first half and what went well for you guys in Big Sky Conference play.
Well, I love how the team is just focusing on getting better every day and really celebrating each other, kind of just staying in the moment. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourselves, but at the same time, they're still hungry on making sure that we are progressing, because this whole conference is getting better right now.
There's a lot of eyes on this game coming up on Thursday, but I wanted to ask you your perspective, because you have been such a part of the growth of women's basketball in general from your time as a player and then as a coach all these years at Montana State. But we've seen it. It's always been big in Montana, but we've seen it now at the national level. And I mean, we're looking at all our numbers and stuff. I mean, women's basketball is on par with men's basketball in terms of all the viewership and all the people watching these videos, et cetera, et cetera. So what have you thought of just sort of this explosion of popularity, especially these last couple of years?
Yeah, I last spring I actually got asked this question with the Caitlin Clark effect, the Juju Watkins effect of like, what are you doing differently? And I'm like, from a marketing standpoint, I'm like, well, I don't know. We probably need to think about jumping on that. And you are certainly seeing growth of the women's game, and I think obviously the everybody's able to see the game so much. The viewership is up. You have social media everywhere. You have ESPN Plus. You know, when you have a product out there, people actually get to see, they get excited about it. So it's been incredible here in Bozeman. Our community has been so behind these kids and how hard they're competing, and we absolutely love it. So we're going to roll with it. It's always been a great product. I think it's just now people are kind of seeing it a little bit more firsthand.
Well, and I think that anybody that watched the first round between Montana State and Northern Arizona, if you didn't have a dog in the fight, you watched that game, that was a great basketball game. I mean, it was just awesome, up and down, back and forth, teams trading blows. Should be a similar one on Thursday night. So what do you think about sort of just like the hype and leading up to this game on Thursday? Yeah,
it's more of just getting your kids locked in on just focusing on what we can control. Can't control everything around it. Can't control, what's happening on the other end. We can control how they get their looks. How disruptive can we be? And just making sure it's business as usual, so to speak. You want to make sure like you're treating your days pretty consistent. There's so much basketball left. And obviously everybody knows it's a big one. It's a fun one. Marketing department's done a great job of kind of, getting people interested in and aware of it. We've been on the road for 4 games, so we're just ready to be on our home floor. I'm like, that's the bottom line. It's great to be back in Bozeman right now.
Well, you take Big Sky Breakdown, proudly presented by the Bobcat Collective at Montana State. The Bobcat Collective is the NIL collective that serves Montana State University student athletes. The collective is partnered with Montana State to connect fans, alumni, businesses, and local nonprofits with Montana State student athletes. Opportunities through the collective allow student athletes to earn compensation while serving the greater Montana State University community. Sign up now for memberships and enjoy automatic entry into raffles for free tickets while supporting the bright minds at Montana State. They have multiple different membership tiers, and you can also be a one-time supporter, and you can also business partner or corporate supporter. Visit bobcatcollective.com for more.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Right down the road, pump it up, oh yeah.
Well, you take some momentum from this last weekend, specifically with a nice road sweep, but what a close to the game on Saturday. I think 26-2 was the run you guys went on to close out Portland State. So what'd you think of your team's ability to finish on Saturday, and can you take some of that into Thursday?
Well, obviously you'd love to, right? I would just say I'm just so proud of our entire team. A lot of times, last few minutes of the game, it could get a little bit ugly, could get a little bit rusty. And we were able to rotate different lineups, different groups, and they just did not lose a beat. If anything, everybody was ready. And there was one clip where Taylor drove and had a rhythm three to Hannah in the corner. And the night before, Hannah and Izzy were in that very, very corner getting shots up with Coach Devin. And I'm like, when you have some of your kids that maybe don't get the same amount of reps or minutes as other kids, but they're still just as hungry as anybody else, you're in a great place. And so I just really proud to see how we celebrate each other, how the kids don't worry about who's rotating in or who's rotating out. They just want to collectively find a way to win together. And they're certainly doing a great job of playing for each other.
Tricia Binford, our Montana State Minute, checking in with Bobcat Women's Hoops. They host Northern Arizona on Thursday there at Brick Breeden Fieldhouse. Tell me about NAU then. I love the style they play. How would you describe just the style of basketball that they play?
Well, I don't love having to guard it, but Lori's just done a great job of creating a spread offense with the right personnel for it, right? So we all have our identities of what fits us. And they're so dynamic in the first 10 seconds of any clock that they can put points on the board so quickly. And we firsthand saw that the first quarter just jumped on us and we had to regroup. We had to kind of claw our way back. I would certainly love to have a better start. But she really has just done a great job of getting those kids to play freely with flow at a really fast pace. And they just spread the floor so well, but she also has an inside presence. So they've got a really good balance of their penetrators, their shooters, their post play. And we know we have our hands full. It was definitely a great game for the viewers. But for both ends of finding ways to stop each other, that's the ultimate challenge because both teams really had great offensive games.
It seems like Northern Arizona's ability to spread you out goes hand in hand with their ability to have, they have one of the best post players in the league. So how much do you think those two things complement each other? And where do you start? Do you start with Sophie Glancy or do you start with the shooters? How do you sort of start making your defensive game plan?
Yeah, it's a great question because if Glancy catches it low, you're done. I'm like, she's as good as anything I've seen down there on the block. And, I think you start in your transition. I think for them, everything starts in that first 10 seconds of the clock. I think we have to be really, really solid in transition. And then we get to the half court and we worry about that. But everybody's just got to be on point. It's for us, we've always been about, we don't guard one-on-one, we guard as a team, whether that's on the perimeter or it's in the post play. And, I think our kids take a lot of pride in protecting each other there. And, but at the same time, they move the ball well. So we're going to have to be on airtime.
Keys for your team in this matchup? What are you going to be looking at as key parts of the matchup for Montana State to have success?
It probably sounds boring for you, Colter, but I want start to finish. I'm like, we really came back strong after that first quarter, but I'd like to have a great start and just be consistent and steady and make them earn what they get. I definitely, everybody's going to have breakdowns that you need to clean up. We just can't have multiple breakdowns in a row.
The point guard matchup is going to be fascinating too. I love the way that Taylor Feldman has emerged for Northern Arizona. You have several point guards that are playing high levels of basketball. Esmeralda Morales, Natalie Picton. So what do you think of that element of this matchup?
Yeah, I'm like, she's dynamic. You look at some of the greats from her offenses that have graduated. It's kind of next kid has constantly and consistently stepped into that role and done a great job. And, for her, that's another example of you can't guard her one-on-one. You've got to make sure as a group you're really defending well. But for us, we definitely play multiple ball handlers. So it does give us a little bit of flexibility if We run Esme off ball with the ball in her hands. She had a great offensive game that game, and everybody looked at her points, but there's so many things that she sees and finds beyond her putting points on the board that I think she just brings the best out of her teammates. So, we do have foot speed with a Natalie Picta and a Taylor Cherick, Dylan Phillip. But so do they. So we've got great matchups for the fans. I think it's going to be a really fun game to watch.
Should be an awesome showcase for women's basketball in Bozeman on Thursday evening. Tricia Binford joining us here on Nuanez Now, as well as the Big Sky Breakdown podcast series. Trish, thanks for being here.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Will you marry me in your future? Or maybe you do it all over again. Hi, I'm Brian Toon with Jewelry Design Center, inviting you to come see the largest selection of Will You Marry Me in the state of Montana. The brightest diamonds of every shape and size, unique settings built to last, and skilled jewelers on site offering free sizing and maintenance for life, because that's how long we want to be your jeweler. Jewelry Design Center in Missoula, on Brooks, across from the Montana Club.